But better here in San Francisco after the Giants beat LA at home for the first time, or just period, this whole season.
Yeah, 1-5 now in the two series. Giants getting swept those first 3 days of April back at Dodger Stadium, and then losing the first two, really missing an opportunity to grab one on Monday night. And then last night was ugly. Tonight it was Mike Yastrzemski doing it with the bat. It was Logan Webb being the ace, getting through a little bit of trouble in the first inning, and also working his way through some two-out noise in the fifth inning to end up going 6 innings and 6 shutout innings, allowing 3 hits with 5 strikeouts. And then it was the young guys, Luis Matos and Elliot Ramos, driving in a couple of insurance runs, and Matos with a hell of a catch. I mean, that was the Jung-Hoo Lee territory where he goes down, makes the catch, and you're thinking, did he crash into that wall and do something to his arm or shoulder? Fortunately, he was able to stay in the game. He hung onto the ball, and that was, the Giants played a pretty clean game all in all tonight.
Yeah, there was a little bit too much activity in that part of center field these last couple days for the Giants defense. But tonight was a fantastic showing, much better than last night, a complete turnaround in all facets of the game. The Giants, their hitting, their defense, the young guys continuing to contribute in scoring runs. Lamont Wade Jr. extends his on-base streak to 16 games. Getting that extra insurance run in the 8th inning was huge. And the Giants also welcome back Curt Casali to San Francisco. So a lot of great things happening in the Giants clubhouse and out on the field as the Giants beat LA tonight.
Yeah, Casali helped him. And I know the guys in the wrap were kind of joking about Logan Webb picking him up and at the airport and driving him to the ballpark. Casali did a nice job, especially in that 2021 season as a backup catcher and somebody that was around and ended up helping. He's just a veteran who's been through it. And I think the Giants found when Patrick Bailey went down, all right, you can bring up Sable, but when you have a couple of guys go down, Murphy had gone down before that, you can't have 2 young catchers at the same time. You got to have some semblance of a veteran if you're going to go through, just to have catching depth within the organization. But to get somebody who's familiar with the organization, familiar with a guy like Logan Webb and some of the pitchers on this staff, I think was important.
Yeah, the Giants pitching staff has a ton of trust in Curt Casali, and I think that he brings just a sense of calm behind the plate. And not for anything, but he caught 5 consecutive shutouts in that 107 franchise record-setting win season, and backup catcher only behind the Buster Posey.
Yeah, no, he was a key contributor on that team where everything basically clicked, really, in the 107 win season. So 808 KNBR is the number. Again, John Dickinson, Sandra G, JD, and Sandra G here from the bunker at Oracle Park. Giants beat the Dodgers 4-1. So 415-808-5627. That is the number to give us a call or shoot us a text. The Golden State Lumber and Building Materials text line is open as we keep things rolling here until midnight and the midnight replay on KNBR. May get into a little bit of 49ers between now and tomorrow here in a little over 2 hours. The 49ers, the NFL schedule dropped earlier this evening right around 5 o'clock. And so we now know who the 49ers are going to be playing and when. And obviously, 49er fans in a frenzy here, even still with a little under 4 months until the actual season begins on September the 9th when they take on the New York Jets. So we'll get into a little bit of that. Austin Scott's got everybody covered from the Giants clubhouse, so he will join us between now and midnight as well. But let's get it rolling on the phone lines at 808 KNBR, and we'll start with Peter in Pacifica on the Sports Leader. Hey, Peter.
Oh, great. Great. I have 3 things.
Okay.
Dave Fleming, well, I'm Flemish, and so I resonate with him. And they're playing the Rockies next, and this is the beginning of a roll. They got the whole. They're ready. And what was the third thing? They ought to bring back the Screamer umpire. Do you guys remember him?
There's been a few over the years.
Well, I'm talking about Dutch Renner.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think
he was the screamer. Yeah, it'd be great if they brought back Dutch Renner.
Well, he's no longer with us, so.
Oh, that's too bad. But
Yeah.
somebody should take a few his cue from him.
Yeah, I like a vocal umpire. I'm with you on that, Peter. But it seems like some umpires have their shtick, others don't. Thanks for the call. But yeah, the umps that would bellow it out, you don't hear as many of those as you used to growing up as a kid. But yeah, we appreciate the call. One thing I will say to Peter's first point is don't sleep on the Rockies. The Rockies, you heard John Miller talking about it during the scoreboard, a very detailed account of the fact that the Rockies have not lost a game going back to last Thursday when they took the series finale against the Giants at Coors Field. They swept the Texas Rangers. That's the defending champion Texas Rangers. And then they went to San Diego and swept the Padres in a 3-game series to win their 7th consecutive game. So they're off tomorrow, travel to the Bay. Giants off tomorrow for the first time since April the 29th. And, I think a week ago you would have looked at it like, yeah, let's get fat on the Rockies if you're the Giants. But now that's not necessarily the case. The Rockies are the hottest team in baseball.
Yeah, the Red Hot Rockies, the last time they lost was to the Giants. So they are coming now into town. But fortunately for the Giants, it is after they come off a big win here against the Dodgers, beating them for the first time this year.
808 KNBR, let's continue on the phone lines with Michael here on the Sports Leader. Hey, Michael.
Hey, JD, I have 3 things as well, or more, maybe. So, like Murph, I have hesitation to go to Dodger games just because, but I decided last minute to pull the 1 hour and 50-minute drive from my office to go to the game tonight. And I saw you moving up from the 4th row to the 2nd row, and I did say hello.
I appreciate you doing that. Always. Sometimes it looks like I'm hiding. I swear I'm not hiding. I like to make sure everybody else has got their seat, and then I just kind of sneak in.
And I will see you again on Friday. If you're sitting in the same area, I'll say hello again.
Beautiful.
But as it took me an hour and 50 to get there. When I walked in, its base was loaded and 1 out, and I'm going, ugh, and then the Kurt karma, the Kurt Yaz karma, the whole thing between those two making me happy and riling the Dodger fans around me and giving them some razz. But you know what? I'm going to say my last point. I don't need drama when we're under 500 and up on the Dodgers, by going into the 9th inning. Let's just cut out the drama, just like a 1-2-3 closeout. Please, thank you.
Yeah, well, you knew there was going to be drama, and a lot to chew on there. You knew there was going to be drama, even though the Giants were adding on. You knew there was going to be drama. What I was thinking was, could you imagine the drama if it was only 2-1, and it was the Yaz home run that they were trying to make stand up into that 9th inning with a couple of runners on, and Ohtani's coming up, and Freddie Freeman's coming up, and that could have been big time trouble. But the credit goes to Elliot Ramos, and the credit goes to Luis Matos for coming up with a couple of big hits that enabled the Giants to add on and get a little bit of breathing room in that 9th inning where, yes, Freddie Freeman was the tying run at the plate, but that's still a much more comfortable position, Sandra, than the alternative.
Yeah, well, the Yaz home run gets the Giants up by 2. They did not relinquish the lead after that. And the runs at the extra insurance runs in the 6th and the 8th turned out to be needed. It could have been a much more closer game, and things can change when the lead is maybe only by 1 run. So those insurance runs in the 6th and the 8th, like you're saying, JD, compliments to Ramos, and Wade ended up scoring around, extending that consecutive streak there in the 8th.
And I'll also say this, as far as Michael, if you're a Giants fan, go to the game. Suck it up. Go to the game. Don't think you can't go to the game. I know we talked about last night and it got ugly. And look, there were dueling chants. And I get it. It's uncomfortable. It's unfortunate. I mean, there was the Giants fans trying to drown out the Let's Go Dodgers in the 9th inning. But if you're a fan, you support your team in my book, and you come out to the ballpark and you try to put the best face forward and you roll with it. But I do think there are a lot of Giants fans right now that echo those thoughts from Michael, which is basically, you feel a little unconfident and reluctant because the Dodgers are so damn good, and they've had the Giants number here at least last year a bunch, and the early part of this year winning the first 5.
Yeah, I think Giants fans should feel a little bit more confident after the performance tonight. And remember, it was only on Monday where the Giants took the Dodgers to extra innings. So besides, if we kind of consider last night an outlier, it wasn't too bad considering all of the injuries the Giants are dealing with right now and going up against a really, really strong Dodgers team.
Yeah, they were competitive in 4 of the 6. The problem is you only win 1 of the 4 in which you were competitive, going back to the first series and this one. And then there were a couple of games that ended up getting a little bit out of hand, the one last night and one of the 3 at Dodger Stadium, going back to the first 3 nights there of April. Yeah, first inning was key for Logan Webb as he's able to work out. And then after Yaz hit the 2-run homer following the Casale single in the 3rd, Webb works around a 1-out walk in that 3rd inning, and then Matos with the robbery of Teoscar Hernandez, the leaping catch at the wall by the Dodgers bullpen. We talked about it a little bit earlier, eerily similar to the play where Jung-Hoo Lee could not come up with the catch and wound up injured. So Matos also made a note of this. Matos got one back tonight for the he can't play center field crowd. I made that note, and I know that's been a big topic of discussion the last couple of days. Is there's been a couple of stumbles, and I don't want to say misplays, but he hasn't totally looked comfortable with his initial breaks. And miscommunication between he and Ramos on a play. It hasn't looked fluid, and it's led many, and we talked about it on the show last night, to wonder, is he really a center fielder? Should he be playing center field? The Giants don't have a lot of options right now. We kind of ran through that. But they want him to play center field. They want to see what he can do. He played center field last year. People kind of were wondering what was going on there, but they have metrics to where they believe he can be a good center fielder.
Yeah, and I think what we saw tonight from Matos was able to kind of quiet down some of that sound that's from people saying maybe he can't play center field, but there is going to be an adjustment period when you get to the big leagues. And I think also when you are coming up from the minors, you come into the big leagues, you're not always playing the same position every day, and you need those reps to be able to really build up your comfortability in a certain position. So moving around is not a good thing when you're trying to get comfortable in a new spot. So I think you leave him in center and see how he fares.
808 KNBR is the number. It is KNBR 104.5 and 680 San Francisco, the sports leader. As we get you into the 10 o'clock hour, it's John Dickinson, Sandra G. from the bunker at Oracle Park. Giants beat the Dodgers. Back of Logan Webb in his 6 shutout innings as the Giants get the win 4-1 over L.A. They beat L.A. for the first time this year. Mike Yastrzemski goes deep, couple of runs driven in, 1 apiece for Matos and Ramos. Camilo Doval, light show and a little bit of drama, but all in all, the Giants are able to prevail to go into the off day victorious, with the Rockies coming in, and the Giants now getting to their 20th win in 45 games, 20-25 now on the season. Let's get Mike in San Francisco. From Michael, we go to Mike on the Sports Leader. Hey, Mike.
Hey, guys. How you doing tonight?
Hey, we're doing well. Doing well.
Okay. I called in last night. Things are looking cherry.
That's baseball, right? One night it looks like you're going to lose 100 games, and the next night it's like, all right, they're back.
Hey, I just give my real takes on here, but I do appreciate all the love. Kurt Casale, Mustang Casale, Vandy brother, player of the game, right? Has to be, because of what he injected into the game today. Luis Matos has to get that fence checked. Camilo Doval is the Nolan Ryan Express. And when I saw Mookie Betts up there against him, I said, Mookie, it doesn't matter if you hit the ball out of the yard. You're still not winning this game with Ohtani and Freddie Freeman behind you. It's just not going to happen. He's the best closer in the game, and I think our best player. I'm really excited about tonight, and just want to know what your guys' feelings are.
Yeah, Mike. Well, I had the same thought when Betts was up in the ninth, and he comes up and he had a hell of an at bat, but it was after a couple of strikeouts to begin the inning. So you're up 3, and it's 2 out and nobody on. And at that point, I had the same thought Mike did as far as, all right, well, Betts can hit one to the moon, and it would still take Ohtani and Freddie Freeman doing the same to get it to a tie game. Now, it was a hell of a plate appearance for Betts to draw the walk, the 3-2 walk, and then Ohtani just kind of dumped one into left field. And then Freddie Freeman's coming up, and again, it's drama, but it's less drama than it would have been had the Giants not added on, and it's less drama than it would have been had Duvall not struck the first 2 batters out, Sandra.
Yeah, I think that Duvall has just been lights out, and we continue to see good things. And when it's actually funnily enough, literally lights out when Duvall comes in, because they do turn off the lights. The
light show, which has been good. I liked it. I know we did half a show on it the first night. I think it took to the Mets series, Mike, to get a light show out there for Duvall coming in, but the crowd's into it. People dig it. I'm pro light show, Mike. I don't know where you stand on that, but it's good vibes. All right, Mike, on into his Wednesday night here out in the Bay Area. Let's keep it rolling with Brian in L.A. on Sports Phone, KNBR here on the Sports Leader. Hey, Brian. Brian, are you there? Brian going once? We lost Brian? All right, we lost Brian. Let's go to Grady. Grady down in Southern California. Hey, Grady.
Hey, what's up, JD? Sandra, how's your night going?
Yeah, we're doing pretty well here. A little different story than the last couple of nights. Good to get that first win for the Giants over the Dodgers this season.
Yeah, finally. I feel like the team needed that one. Finally, the beat LA chants are true. So, yeah, it felt good for sure. I just want to talk about a couple things. One, obviously a great catch by Luis Matos out there. I just feel like with these super athletic center fielders like him and with Jung-Hoo Lee, they ought to check that fence out. I feel like we're seeing a lot of plays out there, crazy, awesome athletic plays, but a lot of renovations of the ballpark. Maybe we're checking those out again. Add a little more padding.
Yeah, it's tough because I don't know where you can add the padding. If the only where you can add the padding is up at the top, but then it's gonna stick out, and so I think they've done the best they can, unless you just completely cut off the visibility component, and the visibility component is why it's constructed the way that it's constructed. So so guys that are sitting out there in the pen can actually see the game a little bit. And you can see who's warming up and the line.
For sure.
So
I feel like, do we really need to let the Dodger bullpen see the game? Okay, all right, maybe like chest high or something.
So just the visitors bullpen. You make sure. Well, that's where all the action's been, and obviously that's where all the action is when you're with these guys and their shoulders getting caught. But no, it is something that, because there have been enough plays where there's been an issue or almost an issue, like tonight, it's definitely something that goes on a scouting report for an outfield. And with this being the Giants' home ballpark, that's definitely something I'm sure has been talked about. The fact that you gotta you want to get back there and be able to make plays, but you also have to make sure that you're not putting yourself in a position where you could ram into it in an odd way and end up missing a couple of months because of it.
Totally. And honestly, those plays, they're good for baseball. They're good for the Giants. I feel like with the starting pitchers we have, you want to allow for that type of athletic defense to occur. And so anything we can do to help those players out and not have them, feeling any fear as they're approaching the wall, I think you just got to do it,
Yeah, no doubt. And
there's got to be a creative solution, right?
It was a spectacular play, and you're right. It is good for the game to get those balls in play and to see athletes out there running and making plays. I mean, it lit up the whole ballpark when he made that play. But then there was also that collective gasp of, did this happen again? Because everybody had just seen obviously what happened with Jung-Hoo Lee after he had been out. He comes back and it's his first game back, and then we'll find out more tomorrow and Friday as to just how long exactly Jung-Hoo Lee is going to be out. 808 KNBR is the number. Thanks for the call. Here it is, John Dickinson and Sandra G. from the bunker here on the Sports Leader. Let's keep it rolling. What do you say? Keep it rolling on the phones?
Yeah, let's keep it rolling. The Giants are coming off a W. Fans are heading home. Give us a call in, and we can go over the game with you guys.
All right, let's get back. We'll give Brian another shot down in L.A. here on the Sports Leader. Hey, Brian.
Yeah, hey there, John. How are you, buddy?
Doing well, my man. How are you?
I'm good, man. You know what? Looking back on it, in the last 9 games, we're 5-4, baby.
That's true. I mean, that is a fact. It's 3-3. You know, I was jotting down a bunch of different notes and how we're going to start the show and all of that. And, yeah, they didn't win their 3rd consecutive series, although they did have a chance to maybe do that if they had gotten Monday. But it's funny. I mean, this weekend against the Rockies is really going to tell the tale of the whole homestand. It's 3-3 through the first 2 series. I think the 1-3 or the 1-2 rather against the Dodgers is probably what you would consider to be the most likely outcome. The Reds were really reeling when they came in, so you got 2 of 3 there. I know it was a kind of a demoralizing loss that led to some of the Logan Webb dog bleep comments in the series opener against the Reds, but the Giants did play better after that. And so, I think this weekend tells the story, Brian, as far as, the Rockies all of a sudden haven't lost since last Wednesday, and they're beating the Rangers and they're beating the Padres and look like a completely different team than they had the first 30, 35 games of the season. But if the Giants can, win that series and maybe, I don't want to get greedy for Giants fans here, but maybe even sweep it, then maybe you truly are feeling like there's some action and they'd be closer to 500 and better over a couple of week stretch at that point.
Now, the only other thing I want to look at is if you look at the Niners' first 7 games of the season, that looks like a very great opportunity to go 5-0, 6-0, 6-1.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a good chance. The Niners have a great chance to start off the season just like they started the last season.
Yeah, I think they've, it's funny. A few people had gone back and forth via text about that, and that was, I jot down a million different things. I'm a admitted schedule nerd, really, like all sports. I'm just a total schedule nerd, and so I jot down a bunch of different things about the Niners schedule. One thing that I missed was opportunity to get off to a hot start. But I think you're right, and a few other people kind of said the same thing to me. We'll kind of run through it a little bit, Brian. But it's a lighter schedule on travel early. There's a lot of home games early, the first half basically, and then in the second half there's a lot of travel, cross country travel. There's some rest disadvantages in there, but I'm with you after kind of looking at it again. I do think there is an opportunity for them to get off to a pretty good start, Brian.
Yeah, the gauntlet goes from week 6 to week 13, and they got a bye week about halfway through that. I like the chances to go to at least 7-2.
Yeah.
Yeah, right around there.
Yeah, the bye week is after. I'm looking at it right now. The bye week is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They play 8, then have the bye, then play 9.
Then they go to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, it's right. It's right in the middle there. The Jets for the start. They haven't won a game at Minnesota since 1992. They played
God, I remember Brett Favre breaking my heart about 11 years ago.
Yeah, it was
play of the game.
2009, that one year where Favre took the Vikings to the NFC Championship game against the Saints. Was week 3? I think it might have been the Vikings home opener early in the season. And, hit the Hail Mary there, and that's one of the – there were some horror – the Niners have not won a game at Minnesota since 1992. There was some speculation that was going to be in London, but not in London. It is going to be at U.S. Bank Stadium. Cool stadium. Had the opportunity to go there and cover the Monday night game last year in October, and it was a great stadium and great fans there and a terrific atmosphere. But yeah, that's the week 2 opponent. Then you're going and playing the Rams, and so see, I see Jets at Minnesota at Rams. And, what I see there is Aaron Rodgers is back. Minnesota may be down, but historically you never win there. And then at the Rams, I mean, that's That's a playoff team from a year ago that probably thinks they're better. No Aaron Donald anymore. Now, New England, Arizona, I'm with you. The Niners have won a couple at Seattle the last couple of years. When can you ever say that? And then it's Kansas City and Dallas. So, 4-1, I think could be a pretty good target. Thanks for the call.
Take care, man.
All right, appreciate it. Brian in LA, talking a little Niners. So you can't get me going on the Niners schedule, Sandra. Then it's like I go into like a different.
We will circle back here. The Giants beat LA and get back into the win column behind Logan Webb.
I had that booked for like 11:15 and on. Like that was kind of the wind down. But then he kind of got me into it a little bit, and I kind of gave away some of the nuggets. We do have a lot of people that want to talk. At 808 KNBR 415-808-5627. Here from the bunker on a Wednesday night. So let's keep it rolling with Gary on the Sports Leader. Hey, Gary, what's going on tonight?
Yeah, I'm just curious. What's the what was your you guys didn't have a full house there tonight, huh?
Full house in terms of what exactly?
Sellout, not a sellout. The last 4 games.
36,027 tonight. So not a sellout in any of the three. It was, I want to say it was 36, roughly 35, 33 ish.
And then last night, about.
Yeah, it was 30. It was of the 3 games in this series. It was, I think, 36, 35, 33. I want to say. I can't remember.
Last night was 33, 575.
Okay. Yeah, last night was 33, and I think Monday night was 35 ish. If I remember.
We're going to play Colorado tomorrow, right, or Friday?
Friday night against Colorado.
Yeah, they might win a series. Because Colorado's still. How is Colorado kind of low down?
They've won 7 in a row.
Oh, that could be. That can. Yeah, because sometimes when they come to San Francisco, they tend to blow them up. They
don't hit. The Giants have had a lot of success over the years against Colorado here. To be sure,
Colorado will surprise them.
Yeah, every once in a while, for sure, Colorado will surprise. But no, I'm looking at thanks for the call, Gary. I'm looking at the attendance numbers, and Sandra, you had them. Yeah, 33,575 last night. We'll just use the main number, 35, and then 36, 37, 32 going back in reverse order Sunday. I think if the Giants are averaging around 35, which I think, just kind of doing it in my head, they are averaging pretty close to 35. I think that's pretty good. And the crowds have been good on the weekend also. 37, 34, 36 on the weekend. The Arizona weekend, the Thursday night was a little low-ish, 26, but then 33, 31, 35 over that other weekend. The opening weekend, you had 40, 40, 40. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday against Washington, 25, 24, 25. But if that's your low, that's not bad. I know we're used to seeing 42, pushing 43 in the history of this place, going back to 2000. But I think given the current state of things, 35 as an average is something that the Giants would live with.
Yeah, I think it was a better turnout tonight. The numbers say so as well. And it always helps when you can get a W going into an off day and then coming up with a weekend series against Colorado.
Yeah, the weekend numbers have been good. I mean, that opening weekend is always going to be great. Arizona's the defending NL champs, but they're not. I mean, I wouldn't say that they're a high ticket, big ticket type of a team. Some of the Monday, Tuesday night, a couple of the Monday, Tuesday night non-Dodgers, the Mets series were in that 24-25 range, but the weekends have all been pretty good, and I would expect that to continue in all likelihood.
Yeah, and I think maybe something that's different from previous seasons with the Giants is you know who's going to be starting, you know who's going to be on the bump day in and day out, and I know even last season there was it could be an hour before the game and you're still waiting to find out who's going to be pitching. So I think people like to plan, and you're like, hey, let's go see Logan Webb pitch against the Dodgers at home on Wednesday night, and you can work your way around that. Yeah,
and Kyle Harrison's been terrific, and he's going to pitch the opener, and Jordan Hicks has been a hell of a story. Those two behind Logan Webb in the Giants rotation, and they're going to be getting it rolling here to begin that series on Friday night. Let's keep it going. We got full phone lines right now. Here on a Wednesday night. So let's go a little bit of rapid fire here. Carrie in Roseville is next here on the Sports Leader. Hey, Carrie.
How's it going?
Doing well, man. Out in my old stomping grounds in Roseville.
Sweet. I was really, I've been kind of really down on the Giants this year, but just been injuries and just haven't been playing right. But all of a sudden, I think we're shaping up. Even we've got a lot of guys injured still. You know, with baseball, you need good pitching, you need good hitting, and you need good outfield. And we've got everything, even with a lot of guys hurt. And I think that's one of the other major problems one of the major factors is it not to have any injuries. But so far, I think we've hung in there pretty good for what we've had. And I think do you know if Snell's is he going to be back this week or?
Snell's making one more. He's making one more start, and then
is he pitching in Sacramento on Friday? Do you know?
One more start in Sacramento Friday, and then he's going to be. It sounds like he's going to be back after that, assuming everything goes well. Obviously, with that. So yeah,
I think with our hopefuls for our pitching, you know, we could have probably the best starting pitchers in all baseball if they all pan out.
Well, that was the plan. I think the plan was to have an elite pitching staff, and we just talked about Harrison and Hicks, who I think have been better than anticipated. And Webb at the top, and you're supposed to have a 1 and 1A with Webb and Snell, who's won a couple of Cy Young awards, and Logan Webb's been right there at the top of the Cy Young voting, including last year when they went 1-2. So. The way out, and thanks for the call, Carrie, tonight in Roseville, the way out, the pathway out for the Giants is to pitch, because that's going to keep giving you chances. And I think the other way, and we discussed this a little bit last night, is trying to find a little more of a balance as far as the active roster goes between the young players and the veterans. There are some that are under contract and you need. And, you know, I think Soler, Conforto in that category as well. Chapman's obviously still playing right now. But among the you got to have a blend. Let's see what Ramos looks like in a lineup with Conforto and with Soler. Or just, you know, let's kind of see how that looks like with a different, you know, maybe Ahmed's not in there. You know, obviously he hasn't been. But it's just more of that balance between opportunities for the young players and the veteran players that are trying to get back to their career numbers.
Yeah, I think when you've got the young guys producing the way that they are, it's going to be hard to take them out of the lineup when the other guys get healthy. So seeing the way that Matos and Ramos that they've been playing these last couple days has been impressive.
Andy in San Francisco next on the Sports Leader. Hey, Andy.
Hey, how's it going? Long-time fan here.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to talk about the Ramos play. You know, Jung-Hoo Lee's out, and it was kind of a confidence downer, but seeing him and what he can do in center field, it kind of brings our confidence back. And then rolling into the next series, you know, hopefully we're going to get Snell before we play the Pirates. So we should be able to at least come out with a series win here in the next week or two, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's take care of Colorado, but Colorado's playing better, and then you've got teams that are basically right where you are on the road. And you know, Pittsburgh and the Mets are a couple of teams that the Giants, when they played here, they took 2 out of 3 against both of them and had opportunities in the Pittsburgh series to sweep that series. Now, Andy meant he said Ramos, he meant Matos, although both contributed tonight. And yeah, Andy, I like what Ramos has done. I mean, they've both hit, but I really like what I've seen at the plate from Elliot Ramos.
Yeah, they're both fantastic so far.
Yeah, Ramos is locked in, you guys. He's locked in, and he was coming off of a real good streak down in Sacramento, and so he's, fortunately for the Giants, has carried that over into the big leagues.
Yeah, and the big RBI tonight, adding that first insurance run, and then they both came through. Matos with the single to drive in the second insurance run, the 4th run of the night, and it was still dramatic in the 9th inning, but maybe a little less dramatic because the Giants had that 3-run lead. From Andy, we go to Philip here on the Sports Leader. Hey, Philip.
Hey, how we doing?
Doing well tonight. What's going on down in Santa Cruz?
We're doing well. You know, I just watched Logan Webb pitch a game-winning shutout, he's crushing it. So that's all I got to say.
Yeah,
Logan Webb.
2 good starts. We had our caller from Roseville, which is almost to Rockland if you're going up 80. know your Sacramento suburbs. Webb, 2 good starts in a row for Logan Webb after a couple of starts where he had struggled, and he obviously had the pointed comments toward everybody, including himself, as far as the way that they had played going back to the Red Series, and he's come out and backed it. He came out and backed it up tonight, worked his way through the typical, sometimes he's gettable in the first inning, but he got through it, and then he settled down, and despite the 32 pitches, he still goes 6 and ends up putting the Giants in a nice position to beat L.A. for the first time this season.
Yeah, and the first inning is not always a friend of Logan Webb, and when you've got that 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Dodgers, that could be a scary place to be. But Webb does right now have the lowest home ERA in Major League Baseball since 2021 with a 2.3 ERA. And also with last season, 216 innings pitched, leading the majors. Logan Webb gets the first win of his career against the Dodgers at home. So let me say that one more time. Logan Webb, for the first time at home versus the Dodgers, gets the W tonight at Oracle Park.
Yeah, I knew it hadn't been great, but it wasn't until I saw it in the notes. 0-5 with a 5.58 ERA before tonight.
In 7 chances.
Yeah, and the Giants had won one of the games that he had started, surprise, surprise, July of 2021.
And Logan Webb pitched through a long first inning. He labored. He had 31 pitches, gets through that with a scoreless first inning, and that was a good breaking off point for the Giants going into the first.
Yeah, and I think you also have to give a nod to the bullpen tonight. Yes, Duvall in the 9th, and gets the first 2 on strikes, and then worked through the Betts walk, and Ohtani dumped one in. Freddie Freeman up with 2 outs, and everybody's chanting both ways. The Giants fans are drowning out the Dodger fans, and he gets Freeman to ground out. But I think when you go back, the job that Jelly did in the 7th, gets the first 2 outs. Mookie Betts with a single, and then Eric Miller comes in, and that was a huge, huge strikeout of Ohtani to end the 7th inning. So with Webb out, a nod to Jelly and Miller, who Bob Melvin clearly trusts. He's mentioned a few times when he said the other night, hey, we were down some relievers. He was talking about those 2, and that others had to pitch. And it shows, when you start, what are areas in which this Giants team can improve over maybe where things were at the beginning of the year? I do think bullpen depth is an area where we're starting to see it with, as well as Jelly's pitched. Eric Miller looks like he's been a find. You still have Rogers and Rogers. You still have Duvall. You still have there has the potential to be a nice veteran young player mix in that bullpen by the time it's all said and done.
Yeah, and Eric Miller comes into the game to face Ohtani in his 21st appearance of the game, with opponents hitting a .136, and he strikes out Ohtani on a 99-mile-per-hour four-seam fastball. So that was impressive to see from Eric Miller tonight.
Yeah, it was good stuff there. And then Tyler Rogers as well. Melvin stuck with Tyler Rogers in the 8th inning. Leadoff single for Freddie Freeman. Will Smith, runners on the corners with a base hit with nobody out.
And it's another one of those flip shots, which you get from Rogers. They're not making hard contact. And so you're going to get a lot of those short to center, spray in the outfield. And that was unfortunately what happened there. But you see that a lot when you've got Rogers pitching. So that's the batted balls are not being hit hard.
Yeah, Muncy with the sacrifice fly. Then you got Teoscar Hernandez, and I was kind of wondering would Bomel go to Duvall at that point?
He was warming up. He was in the bullpen.
Yeah,
at that point
he was warming up, and with Lux up, he made the decision to stick with Tyler Rogers there, and Rogers was able to get Lux to bounce out to Wade there to end the inning. So nice job. We talked about the defense and the young players adding the insurance runs. Mike Yastrzemski got the Giants off to the 2-0 lead, but the bullpen and in particular the young guys in the 7th, and then Tyler Rogers working his way through that 8th inning, important there as well. So let's keep it rolling here. Let's get back to the phones. Kitty is next here on the Sports Leader. Hey, Kitty, how are you tonight?
Hey, great. We got the win.
Yeah, we sure did, Kitty. Are you on the bridge?
No, I just got off the bridge, but there's some traffic incident going on.
I talked so long. I was talking so long about the 49ers schedule. You weren't on the bridge anymore, Kitty.
No, hey, and I got Asher in the car with me, and he's a Dodger fan. Say hi, Asher.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on, Asher?
What up? Doing good.
He works I met him when I went to the doubleheader for the A's and for the Rangers to say hi to Bochy, right? Great kid. And we just kind of connected, and he says, I'm a big Dodger fan. I said, okay, you know what? You're going to go to the game with me Wednesday. And here we were. And you know what? It was an excellent game.
It was a very well-played game.
It was. That's really what I wanted to say. I just wanted to say, Webby got the win. I'm excited. Yeah, baby. I was happy for that. And you know what else I want to say? Casali's back.
He's so back.
Yeah, I don't think there was anybody happier in the ballpark than Logan Webb to have Casali back. And Casali was in on the action. I know we had a call earlier, Kitty, that said player of the game. I don't know player of the game necessarily, but he made the cut if we were doing, your top 5, right? If it's Webb and Yaz and Matos and Ramos, I mean, if you had to pick another one, it's probably Casali. He was on base a couple of times. He scored a run.
Well, he saved a couple 90-foot balls that went over to far to his right, and being able to have Kirk Casali, a veteran behind the dish, to kind of bring that calm back to the club and have like a relaxed, measured rhythm and pace to the game that could potentially always be a difference in a ball game.
All right, Kitty, thank you so much for the call. We'll talk to you again soon.
Oh, I love you guys. Bye-bye.
All right, appreciate it. Yeah, Kitty on the Bay Bridge, and maybe a little good karma for Kitty. She goes to the A's game over at the Coliseum. She meets someone who's a Dodgers fan. You know what? Why don't I bring you to the game? And it ends up being good karma for her because the Giants end up winning the game.
I'll take it. I'm on board with that.
Good karma play there for Kitty. Mark in L.A. next here on the Sports Leader. Hey, Mark.
Guys, hey, thanks for having me on. There's a lot of positivity about tonight's game, but there shouldn't be. I mean, it's cool that we got this win, but we're glazing this team way too hard right now. We're 2 games behind right now where we were last season. And at this point last season, we all considered the season a disaster. We're 2 games worse than that.
Well, you didn't listen to last night's show, Mark. You didn't listen to last night's show.
No, I felt in my heart the way that we all did about last night. Like last night we were all like, let's blow it up. This is clearly not working. Like our hot new players are struggling like crazy. Jung Lee out for a long time. He was making good contact, but like generally unproductive for the last month or so. Soler and his like batted ball off the dome, like we were all sending clown emojis to our friends. I know I wasn't the only one. Like that was horrible. Webb today in the first, he was one hung slider away from becoming a trade prospect. Like everyone was like, yeah, this is a great start for Webb. No, it was a horrible start for Webb.
Now I'm going to push back on that. It was not a horrible start. It was very close, and I made the comment to our Austin Scott, our digital guy who joins us here toward the back end of the show. I made the comment to him in the press box. I said it was very close to being big trouble early, and I think we all could see that. But here's the thing, Mark. Does tonight's win change anything in the grand scheme of things? No, it doesn't. But it was a clean, well-played game. Some of the young guys contributed. Webb worked his way through some trouble. Duvall came in and got it done. It's 1 of 162. It's not, hey, everything's going to be fine. But if there is going to be a pathway out, it's got to start somewhere. And again, I'm not even saying it did start tonight, but I think even in a down year, or what may prove itself to be a down year, you got to still celebrate the nights where the game is played well and your team gets a win. That's where I'm coming from on it.
Giants, that's all fair. Giants fans are optimistic in a way that the rest of the Major League Baseball fans, except like for a few teams maybe, would not tolerate. like you're right, we got to start somewhere, right? It's not going to change anything, but there's got to be changes. Our number 3 hitter is hitting 206. He's the lowest batting average. I know batting average isn't everything, but even his on-base percentage is the lowest of all the regular players, outside of like Casali that just came in and Schmidt that just came in. And he's our number 3 hitter. That's got to change. Like, I think that there are so many people that are like, platoon him with Schmidt, get Schmidt more, get him in there more, get him more reps. Because if Chapman's not around for a long time and Schmidt is, if we're actually going to make a run and like we're going to try and do something this season, that's got to change. That's just a free out. And it's horrible.
Well, look, Chapman's going to get the benefit of the doubt, but again, those are the kinds of things that play out over the course of a season. If this team does prove themselves to be out of it come June and July, then they're going to have to look at different options at that particular point in time. Like I'm with you, Mark, and thank you, Mark. Appreciate the call. I'm with Mark in the sense that you're going to have celebrate the wins. I'll kind of use the line that I used last night. They're 20. I'm going to do a little bit of math quick. They're 20 and 25. And so you look at what that is over a full year, and it's 72 wins. So it's like, yeah, if this team wins, I'll give that same line. If this team wins 72 wins, there's still going to be nights like tonight. But in the grand scheme of things, if they go 72 and 90, there's going to be a lot of changes. And I get he's talking changes now. Like Chapman's going to get time. Like he's not, Solaire's going to get time, but there's still opportunities for the other young players, I think, to play.
Yeah, and I mean, Chapman's defense, you cannot understate. And even if he's not going to be hitting the defense, his glove, I wouldn't take him out of the lineup myself.
I wouldn't at this point. But if you're out of it in July, then okay, you got to have a conversation about where does his contract stand? Is there a play? If you deem that you're not a contender, again, it's too early to do that in May, even at 20 and 25. We talked about it last night. They're only 2.5 out. Hell, they may have gained ground tonight. I know the Padres lost to the Rockies again, but you look at the standings, and at this point, yeah, you're only a game and a half. The Padres are still that final wild card, still at 2 under. So you're a game and a half out of the final wild card spot, even though you could make the case that this season has been awful, like early for the most part. I mean, you're on a 72 win pace, and you're a game and a half out. So even if you look at it like it's been awful, you're still there. And so it's a matter of finding that right combination of players moving forward. If you deem yourself out of it come July, you look at Chapman's contract, you see if a contending team would want to have a veteran at that point, and then you figure it out. My point, I guess, Sandra, is you don't need to figure it out on May 15th. You don't have to say Chapman's done May 15th. Like, that's foolish. That's too strong. Yeah. We may get to that point, but we're not there on May 15th.
Just everybody sit tight. Don't press the panic button. There's plenty of baseball left to be played. It's May 15th, guys. And look, the young players who come up and perform are going to and should continue to get opportunities to play and perform. If you contribute, you stay in the lineup. That's just the way that it is.
And I think Ramos has done that, to be sure. And I think Matos has done that as well, too.
He's getting on base.
A lesser extent, but he's done it.
He's getting on base, and if he continues to play defense and turn it around, I know there was that error that he made in center field yesterday, but give him a beat, let him get adjusted, and maybe this all turns around, and that's a memory.
Casey Schmidt's getting his opportunity in the Ahmed spot, and Luciano's up right now, so we'll see if he gets an opportunity in the Ahmed spot. He's going to probably get a couple of starts here, and when he does, how does he perform? If he looks like Ramos and Matos have looked, then it's going to be a situation where he's going to continue to play at that point, and they're going to have to look at what they do with the rest of the roster. Again, I get it. It hasn't been good. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. 20 and 25. It's been, you can go through the names. We all know there's been a lot of disappointments, but they are only, you can't also say they're only 20 and 25. Now, if 20 and 25 turns into 25 and 40,
then your hand is closer to the panic button.
Then all right. And look, and I'll even say the end result. If the end result is 70 to 72, there's going to be major changes. Like it's just the reality. But that doesn't mean on a night where the Giants play well, you got to give them credit for playing well, even if you don't think it necessarily means a whole lot in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, Logan Webb goes 6 innings on 100 pitches tonight at Oracle Park when the Giants pull off the win against the Dodgers. The first time only the 6th time this season that the Dodgers have been held to 1 or fewer runs. So that is something to say in itself. The Giants beat LA at home at Oracle Park behind Logan Webb, who is the stopper and stops the Dodgers from sweeping the Giants at home.
And again, this homestand's going to be determined by the weekend. The Rockies are coming in. They're not the 8-26 Rockies. They're the 1-7 in a row Rockies, but they still got a little of the 8-26 in them. And so we'll see. Like let's talk Sunday after the 3-game series against the Rockies and see where the Giants are at then. You lose 2 out of 3 in that series, then we're basically back to where things were last night, only worse. You sweep it, all of a sudden you're 2 under and you're right there, even though you clearly haven't played your best baseball. Even though clearly overall that wouldn't be good enough for a full season, but things at that point, then you could start to make the case that things are maybe trending in the right direction, and you start to look at why things could be trending in the right direction. But when you lose series and you have games like last night, it's tough.
Yeah, and you know what? The Giants got considerably better today with Curt Casale coming back and joining the club after spending some time in AAA with the Cubs organization. So Curt Casale joins the Giants again. As you know, Curt Casale was the backup catcher to Buster Posey in the franchise record-setting 107-win season. So Curt Casale back in the black and orange and was a contributor tonight as he was on first base when Yastrzemski, his Vandy brother, hit a home run there in the 3rd inning tonight.
All right, 808 KNBR is the number. Let's get one more in here and we'll pause. Safe at Third in the city is next here on the Sports Leader. What's going on, Safe at Third?
Hey, doing real well. It's a great Giant win. Giant fan since 1953. Let me tell you, as I've been stating and calling the station, this wonderful station that allows us to get some steam off or whatever, this is a new team. We have to consider this is a new team, different from the team last year. And we got to give these guys a chance. We got one of the best managers in baseball who has the temperament to put this together. And we should support that and try to back this team and go out and yell for this team. I was at the game tonight. Couldn't have been happier to see what was going on. Let me say this. One of the things I'm hoping is that Bowmel gets his team. Okay, you run into the wall, you make a great catch. It's going to be a highlight on ESPN. But now, it's a possibility of hurt. I had to hold my breath when Matos was, like I had to watch Slater. I had to watch Lee. When the warning
it felt like Groundhog's Day.
Yeah, like when the warning track comes, guys, and they lace them up and put them on. I don't. But the point is, we need you in there for the long haul. We need Lee. He's our leadoff. Lee, take it easy, man. If you don't think you can get it when you hit the warning track, let it go so you can, toss it back in. Hold him at second if that's the case. We need you. Now you might miss the whole season. We have to look at these things, and the lineup is starting to get a little shaky like it did because you got to patchwork people in and out. That takes you away from a consistent lineup. I'm an old school guy. I'm 75 years old. I like a consistent lineup. If you're good enough to break the consistent lineup, great, do that. But until you do that, consistency is my thing. And let me leave you guys off with this one. Think about this. 2021, 107 wins. What did we do right in 2021? How did it make a difference to where we are now? We scored 808 runs compared to our opponents only 581 or something like that. Think about it. What did we do right in 2021? Can we bring some of that karma to this year? You guys have a great night. Thank you. Thank you for letting me on.
Yeah, appreciate it, Safe at Third. I'm with him on consistency. They hit the ball out of the ballpark in 2021, and they pitched, and they were abnormally clutch.
Well, it was the resurrection of Brandon Crawford and Brandon Belt. the two Brandons, and not to mention Buster Posey having a fantastic year after coming back from being out in the COVID season. So that was a really impressive year from the veterans. And I think if the Giants can do the same thing with getting the veterans to heat up, which I hope will happen for the club, that is something that could happen. You get Soler, and you're thinking that he's going to be somewhere around the 40 mark with home runs coming into this season.
At least 30.
Yeah, it's been slow start for him. He's been out now and he's missing games, but that's going to be ramping up, and you're going to have Conforto coming back, and Conforto was the big bopper in the lineup up until he went out a couple days ago. So they're going to be on the mend. They're going to be back soon, and hopefully those Jacks will start coming back for the Giants.
Couple on the text line, Golden State Lumber and Building Materials text line 408. Yet to win 3 in a row. Yes, still yet to win 3 in a row. That would be a step if you could win. Again, it's funny. For 2 weeks I've been thinking, all right, Rockies at home, that's maybe an opportunity to string 3 together, or maybe even more than 3 together if you win tonight, as the Giants have done. But now it's the different Rockies. But yeah, you got to win. At some point, you got to string some wins together, and I do understand those who say, "Hey, this team's 20-25. They haven't won 3 in a row. What the heck are you talking about? The ability to get on, some kind of a run." I think that's fair until they go out there and prove otherwise. 510 taking exception, I think, to something I said about, we'll see if things are trending in the right direction. I didn't say they're trending in the right direction after tonight. I said they could be trending in the right direction depending on the weekend. Got to listen.
Yeah, and like I was saying last night, JD, all it takes is one to really turn this thing around, and you could feel the disappointment is kind of being alleviated a little bit as the Giants hold the Dodgers to 1 run tonight. And what we saw from Logan Webb was a different mix of pitches and a different style. And I don't think we saw a changeup until maybe the 2nd inning, and that is his bread and butter pitch. So Logan Webb mixing it up with pitches, going out, getting through that 1st inning is a really good sign. Getting through that tough first 4 batters for the Dodgers lineup.
All right, Mike in Riverside on the Sports Leader. Jacob, I promise you, I'm going to get I promise you, dude. We got Jacob Violante, the legend, and then some guy named Greg Silver is in studio as well.
Man. Dude, I hate to be the. Oh man! So I'm the person that gets put between that and that great lineup you just announced, man.
I'm going to get in trouble, Mike, and I'm going to own it. But I'm going to get in trouble because you've been on. I can see how long you've been on hold. And I said, I can't make you wait, Mike. I'm not going to make you wait another 6 minutes. I'm not doing it.
It's all good, man. And I will clarify, too. So the only reason I'm in Riverside is for a business trip. I'm from the Bay Area. I'm born and raised in San Francisco, but I got inspired when I did a jog around Bobby Bond's community park today.
Nice.
And it was just so great. Yeah, I know. Birthplace of Bobby and Barry.
Right? Yeah, that's great. That's terrific.
So, yeah, it was just a great cap to the night to see the Giants beat the Dodgers. Thank God after the series in the year. But yeah, man, the one thing I said when I was coming on, and this has been my reservation. I hate to be the glass half empty guy. Ever since I kind of saw this, and this is me thinking big picture, strategic sort of thing. I love Bob Melvin. I know he's a born and bred Bay Area guy. A's, Giants, loved him when he was in uniform playing. Same time, man. Kind of saw when he came into San Diego as the manager, and he was handed the roster of Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado, and all the stars, Yu Darvish, everything star-studded and up. Made a great one in 2022. But ultimately, where did that go in 2023, right? It just feels, again, this is back of my mind, glass half full kind of dude thinking, you've been handed the same thing with Jorge Soler, Hassan Kim, and I know, injury, Matt Chapman, all of the money that the Giants spent this year to build out the lineup. And, injuries happen. Nothing you can control about that. But, I just –
well,
I don't know, man.
Look, Mike, I think here's where I come from on that. I don't think Jorge Soler and Matt Chapman at this stage and even Jung-Hoo Lee are Tatis and Machado
and Soto
before the last couple of years. Like I think it's I think that's a different deal. And look, I think things got weird in San Diego. Basically, like the Padres were underachievers. It's interesting. They were underachievers with that talent and disorganized and undisciplined and kind of lazy, frankly. Like they just played sloppy ball. And then Melvin came in there in 22 and he cleaned it up. And I think what happened in San Diego was basically those guys didn't want to be disciplined. And Melvin wants to run an orderly club. And, I think that the GM there sided with the players and basically was like, hey, we're going to let the players do whatever the hell they want. And that led to a real uninspiring season for them up until the last couple of weeks. They got really hot at the end to end up over 500. I think they won 11 out of 13 or 15 out of 17. It was something crazy at the end to get to a couple of games over 500 by the end. So I think it's just different situations. I think Bob Melvin, you give Bob Melvin, average talent. And I think he has those kinds of teams play above average baseball more often than not throughout the course of his career. So I don't know, Mike. I think Bob Melvin is the absolute least of the problems for this franchise right now. If you want to start listing everything else, we don't have to do it right now. But I think Melvin was a great get, and in some ways I was surprised that the Padres allowed it, but they allowed Bruce Bochy to get away way back in the day too.
Very true. Yep.
Thanks, Mike.
And no, trust me. Yep.
Appreciate it. All right, Tim in Visalia next, and then we'll pause here. What's going on, Tim?
Hey guys, can you hear me? Good.
Loud and clear. What's going on in Visalia?
It's hot.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, that's valley weather for you, though, right?
Yes, it is. No question.
Okay, so here's the thing. I've been a Giants fan since '82, going on 42 years now.
Okay.
And I've been through the 100 loss seasons. I've been through the 98 loss seasons. I've been through the good times with the World Series, and I've never given up on my Giants. Okay. The thing with this team is 2021 was not a fluke. It was an aspiring season. It was a fun season that we had. We can bring that back. We got to give these guys a chance. I've always said, if we're going to struggle, it needs to be now, not in the second half. And if we're going to be injured, I don't like to think about it that way, but it needs to be now, not later in the season. And I've always thought that way. Sometimes it's been good, sometimes it's been bad. In the 2010s, it was good for us because we had a good run there, even when we had injuries. Even when we were struggling in 2014, we struggled, mightily before, I believe it was in the first half. Second half.
Yeah, well, they were great. Yeah, 2014, they were great in the first half and then really struggled and then got it together at the end. But, yeah, they were, I think, early June, they were 20, 22 games over. They were like 42-20 or something like that, the first 60. And then there were a lot of injuries and they kind of wore down, but then they got it together down the stretch. And, it was just a different animal once they got into the postseason.
Yeah, and I think that we can do that again. I'm not saying, oh, yeah, we're going to go to the World Series. We make the playoffs. That'll be a good, a start for the following seasons. We need to give these guys a chance. Chapman will come around. Soler will come back. He'll come around. You got to give these guys a chance. Just like we did, I'll give you a good example. Matt Williams, when he first came up, he went up and down from AAA 2 or 3 times before he actually started hitting. And when he started hitting, him and Clark and Mitchell and Jeffrey Leonard and all of them, they tore it up.
Yeah,
like I said, we need to give these guys a chance.
Yeah, and typically it's Memorial Day. Now, there's been some injuries. We're still a couple of weeks away from Memorial Day, and I appreciate the call. But to me, look, you got to try to use the injuries to your advantage in some way, and we've discussed it a lot, Sandra, just the fact that it's giving younger players an opportunity, and then it comes back to, all right, if Conforto's back and hitting like Conforto was at the beginning of the season, Conforto's going to play. And maybe it ends up being, with Jung-Hoo Lee out for a while. We don't know exactly how long, but maybe it winds up being Conforto, Ramos, and Mike Yastrzemski who are out there in the outfield a bulk of the time. Solaire's going to be the DH. Maybe Matos splits some time with Yastrzemski and you attack it that way, or maybe he splits a little time with Soler, here and there. If Soler can't quite get on track, there's ways to do it to take and the contributions that the young players have brought to the table here and reward them for what they've been able to provide.
Yeah, I think I said it earlier too. If they're producing there, it's going to be hard to take them out of the lineup. And some of these other guys like Chapman he's going to heat up eventually. Flores, who was the Giants' home run leader last season, he's going to heat up eventually. And so you just got to give it a little bit of time, not hit the panic button yet, and see where the season stands as we head to Memorial Day.
All right, 808 KNBR is the number. We'll go ahead and pause here. We'll come back. Lines open, 415-808-5627. You can join the conversation from the bunker. Giants beat the Dodgers tonight, 4-1. KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
Sports Phone KNBR keeps rolling. Live from the KNBR Casino Matrix Progressive Jackpot Studios. Casino Matrix. Progressive Jackpots are here. Where are you? Just drop in. Please play responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
2 down. Betts the runner at first. Freddie Freeman on deck. Now here is the stretch by Miller. He sets, throws. Fastball struck him out looking. And Ohtani is very unhappy with that call. Fastball not quite on the corner. Belled high at 99 miles an hour. Inning over. We go to the last of the 7th.
A big point in the game there. Eric Miller striking out Shohei Ohtani to end the top of the 7th. John Miller on the call right here. KNBR, the sports leader. Giants beat the Dodgers 4-1. It's John Dickinson back here in the bunker, joined by Sandra G. Of course, Sandra G. on Talking Baseball with Marty Lurie on the weekends here on the sports leader. And we appreciate you sitting in here helping out for the duration here, the entire series.
Well, thanks, JD. Nothing's better than being in the bunker post-game after a Dodgers loss at Oracle Park.
Yeah, Giants get the win first time in 6 tries. They'll see the Dodgers again coming up, I think, end of June. Only the 4 series now with the balanced schedule. And so I think it's June and July, if memory serves. Again, self-proclaimed schedule nerd that I am. I think it's right around the All-Star break that the Giants go and play at Dodger Stadium in the final weekend of June, I think, is when the Dodgers come back. Yeah, June 28, 29, and 30 weekend series for the Giants and Dodgers there to close out June. And then July, it's a 4-game series. First week out of the All-Star break, the Giants are in Colorado for 3. And then they go to Dodger Stadium for 4, and that's it. They're done with the Dodgers on July 25th, which as good as the Dodgers are, maybe that's a good thing. You're done with them for the final two months and a week of the season. But yeah, it's not 19 games and 6 series like it had been really for the last 2 decades.
Yeah, it's much different with the balanced schedule, and I mean, I'm sure Giants fans can remember being in like the last 6 games of the season and having a 3 or 4 game series against the Dodgers was always a little bit nail biting.
Sometimes having maybe 7 of the last 10 because you'd have 2. Yeah. You'd have 2 series there, and you know the 2021 seasons come up a couple of different times tonight in various ways. And I mean, I'll never forget the 19th game of that 2021 season, that head-to-head game, the Sunday before Labor Day, and the Giants needing to win that game to win the season series 10-9, and that ultimately proved to be the difference in the division for the Giants winning the division at 107 and being able to host the Dodgers in the division series. Now the Dodgers ended up winning Game 5 here at Oracle Park and moving on before losing to the Braves. But yeah, gone are those days of the 18-19 games played within the division. So that's one thing that we got into a little bit last night was the fact that, the Giants are going to be done with the Phillies by Memorial, a couple days after Memorial Day. You're basically halfway done with the Dodgers. If you're looking for a way out for the Giants in terms of getting this thing turned around, having opportunities to play a lot of these other teams that you're in this may sound a little harsh, but glut of mediocrity I look at right now between Washington and the Mets and the Pirates and the Reds, who the Giants just saw. They've seen a bunch of these teams here, Cincinnati, New York, and Pittsburgh. The Padres. Giants played well against the Padres. Padres are 22-24. And they're the last wild card team right now. So there's basically 5 good teams in the National League right now.
Yeah, and even though the Giants are not going to be playing the Dodgers in September, September is still National League West heavy for the Giants as they have a 3-game series here at home the 3rd, 4th, and 5th of September, followed by an away 3-game series, a quick jaunt, if you will, to San Diego, and then they are back home for 3 against Milwaukee, and then another weekend series, but this time at home against the Padres before what looks like a almost 2-week road trip to then come and end the season in a 3-game series against St. Louis, where the Giants may see Brandon Crawford in that last series of the year.
Yeah, a couple of San Diego series, the 4 San Diego series, 2 at the beginning and 2 right there at the end, as you mentioned, in September. A couple of Diamondback series there in September, splitting things up with Arizona. The Giants are going to go there, I think, the first week of June. They go to Arizona. They've already played 4 games here. It's not September's not a picnic. The Brewers, the Orioles, in addition to some of those other teams. So yeah, we'll see. But getting to the point where you're in the race come September 1st, I think at this point would be a big time win for the Giants. 808 KNBR is the number to join the conversation. 415-808-5627 as we continue here following the Giants win over the Dodgers. Giants improving to 20-25 on the season. Logan Webb gets the win. We talked about that. Yaz getting the Giants on the board in that 3rd inning 2-run shot. His at-bats have been better.
I was going to say that, JD.
Yeah.
He's had a couple of nice at-bats today, and obviously the home run, which is marks his 4th home run of the season. And he scores Vanderbilt Bud, who is back in town, Kirk Casale. And the Giants get back in the win column behind Logan Webb in his first win against the Dodgers at Oracle Park in 7 appearances. He had been 0-5 prior to this evening here at Oracle Park. Gets through a rough first inning with 31 pitches thrown. But the Giants win tonight behind some good pitching, some good defense, and some timely hitting.
Yeah, Luis Matos with the incredible catch in the 4th.
Just a straight-up robbery.
Just a robbery. Yep, total robbery to Oscar Hernandez. The leaping catch there at the wall, eerily similar to the Jung-Hoo Lee play that he could not make, and then didn't crash into the wall in the same way that Jung-Hoo Lee did, thankfully. Matos, though, was down for a little bit. And
you see Yastrzemski start motioning to...
And you're thinking, here we go again.
To the dugout there again. Exactly. It was like Groundhog's Day.
Yeah.
And how many more center fielders can the Giants lose? And thankfully, Matos was okay.
Yeah, you're thinking at that point, it would have been what? Slater and Jung-Hoo Lee and Matos at that point. So you're thinking, Giants can't have nice things, even with a terrific play by Matos there. And then Ramos continues to hit. I've been impressed with Elliot Ramos. I think he just seems confident. He just seems like, I'm here, I'm a big leaguer now, and I don't want to go back. And so we'll see. Again, it's been about a week, a little over a week. I mean, it's obviously going to have to continue. Players come up all the time and perform, and the league adjusts, and then can the player adjust? And that becomes the name of the game there. But there has been a little infusion from these young players here over this stretch where it hasn't all been pretty, but in some ways, coming off of that Philadelphia series and getting to Colorado and taking the 2-3 against Cincinnati, the competitiveness level has been better the last week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yeah, and something that I saw from Ramos today too in the 6th inning, after Thairo Estrada rips a single 104-mile-per-hour bullet off the bat up the left side of the infield there. Ramos then works a full count, gets Hernandez to labor a little bit, smashes a liner up into the gap to score Estrada, and he gets a RBI double to turn the game into 3-0. So that was something nice to see from Ramos, really working at bats, being very careful with swings, getting at that point too, I think the majority of the innings by Hernandez had been like 11 or 12 pitches besides the 3rd where he threw 21. So getting him to throw some extra pitches there at that point in time in the game was big.
Yeah, it was feeling a little bit in the 4th and 5th innings like Monday night where the Giants got on the board with the Matos blast, and then Yamamoto settled in a little bit before they got to him in that 6th inning. The Giants got to Matos the other night. But, yeah, it was the 2-run shot by Yaz, and then he got Wade to end that inning, and then it was 3 up, 3 down in the 4th. It was 3 up, 3 down in the 5th, and then Estrada got on to lead off the 6th, and Ramos able to double him in there. So, yeah, that was part of the story tonight for the Giants in a big-time way. Yeah, Jacob, I'm bringing you in, Jacob Violante, back in our San Francisco studios here. We're kind of doing a little we'll just bring our little show meeting on the air here. Yeah, do we have maybe a chunk of Bomel here? We'll let the people hear from Bomel in his presser, or Logan Webb that we can go to here.
Yeah, we got 4 minutes from Bomel if you want it.
Yeah, let's roll a little Bob Melvin, get his take on this one as the Giants salvage the finale into that off day, first one in 2.5 weeks. Win for Logan Webb against the Dodgers, and all in all, maybe the kind of game that could prove to be the template for the way the Giants are going to have to play moving forward if they're going to turn this thing around. So here's Bomel.
What do you think about how Logan worked his way out of that long first inning and managed to go 6?
Yeah, it's 30-plus pitches, and I'm wondering how he's going to go 4, let alone 6. So we were going to extend it a little bit with him, maybe to 110 or maybe a little more if we had to. But 5th and 6th were pretty good for him. What he ended up throwing just over 100, I think. So to recover from something like that, where you throw that many pitches in the first inning against that club that tends to foul some pitches off and make you work and then get it under control and gives 6 shutout innings, that's probably his best work of the year.
Matos had kind of a rough night in the outfield last night. What did you think about the way he handled things tonight, particularly?
Yeah, I was just hoping we didn't have another guy go down in the same spot again. But that's just I didn't think he was going to catch it, off the bat. Sometimes it's tough to predict the wind here and whether a ball's going to carry or not, but that's just got to be a perfect route. You throw your hand up at the end and hope it goes in your glove, and it did. So that makes you feel a lot better if you maybe you weren't perfect for a particular game, but momentum swing, it's a ball that they're coming right back and potentially base runner, and for that to be an out, that was a big pick me up for us, and I know confidence wise for him.
You mentioned being able to stretch Logan and being without Walker. What led to that decision to pull him after 6? And also, what did you think of the way those two guys got through the 7th?
Well, pull him after 6. The decision was to let him go out for the 6th. So, he came in, he felt great. He's like, I got another inning me. So we were going to, like I said, extend the pitch count in the 6th potentially, but he had a quick 6th, just over 100. And you know what? Jelly's been doing a really good job for us. You knew the lefty pocket was going to come up after that, and Miller was ready for that. So, both those guys did their job, and then when we turn it over to Tyler and Camilo, we feel pretty good about winning the game.
You played 16 straight. Then the first 2 games in this series didn't turn out great. Every game is important, obviously, but right. to do this right before a day off in this moment, what does this game mean?
Well,
that way?
Yeah, a lot, because, one, you want to go into an off day not getting swept. We haven't beaten these guys yet. It felt like, 2 games, it feels like doomsday, right? That we haven't won those 2 games, even though we won 2 series previous to that. We just lost a really tough fight the first night. Yes, they got a little bit out of hand, but came back and beat them today. So, and it's really good experience for some of our younger guys, too. Ramos gets another big hit. Matos gets another big hit. Obviously, he has his home run. So it was, there are important wins over the course of the season early on. This was probably one.
About the best stuff Duvall's had, you think, tonight?
He's been pretty good. I mean, if you're looking at velo, I think there were some 102s. Yeah, and then, a couple scratch hits. There's 2 out, nobody on. Grounder up the middle, give him credit for fighting it off. And then Smith gets a slider that just kind of slaps out there. And now all of a sudden, the tying runs at the plate. But, yeah, I thought his stuff was really good. They made him work a little bit up at the end. But coming out the way he did today, throwing as hard as he did and the command early, it was really good.
Kirk Casale was sort of fresh off the plane, but what did you think about how he did?
I thought he was great. There's just an aura about him, his command of the game. Some guys that he hasn't caught, I think. And it's hard. You travel all day and you get to a new team. Obviously, there's some familiarity here. But there's just a really good feeling. You feel it on the other side. All the shutouts he's caught here, it's defense first, it's game calling, it's game management first for him. I'm really happy that he got off to a great start and called a really good game on a game that was important to us.
You could feel the love from former catcher to backup. It was backup catcher to backup catcher. Bob Melvin was backup catcher a lot throughout his career. Bruce Bochy was in his career as well. And you could just feel the love for what Casale was able to do, and familiarity part of it. But they needed, no slight to anybody else, and Bailey's hurt, and Reitz and Sable have done the best they can, but the Giants needed some catching help, and they needed a veteran that's caught games in the majors, and to get Casale off of the Iowa Cubs, and they signed him to a full big league contract today.
1 year.
So
Jackson Reitz gets optioned back to AAA. Murphy moves to the 60-day IL, and Casale is signed to.
So Casale's going to be the guy. I think. Obviously Sable can hit a little bit, but I think, and you need to get Bailey back. I mean, this team needs to get Patrick Bailey back in the fold, but. To know that you can go to Kurt Casale, who can call games, like Bomel said, defense first. That's important, and the pitchers trust him, which is also a big part of it.
Yeah, and you know what? Let's take a moment to recognize that this is Bob Melvin gets his first W as the manager of his hometown Giants. The skipper gets his first W against the Dodgers in this classic rivalry with the Giants versus the Dodgers at home tonight at Oracle Park.
Yeah, and some other just key takeaways from Bomel. He was pretty blunt and to the point about looking at that first inning and the way the Dodgers have a tendency to be able to wear pitchers down, and the 32 pitches in the first inning, saying, he's wondering how can he get beyond the fourth inning based on the way that went. The Matos catch really, I thought, helped avert some disaster, because that would have been pitches. Teoscar Hernandez drives that ball, and even if he knocks it down, it ends up being, let's say, a triple. Then you're pitching to Lux with runners on. It looked like it was going over the wall, but it's momentum. It's that momentum swing as far as, the Dodgers are answering right back, and you're thinking, here we go again, all of those kinds of things. So that was a huge swing play.
Yeah, that completely energizes not only the players on the field, but the fans. The place was rocking after that, and that was not the only time that Matos brought the crowd to his feet. Tonight, Matos also smacked a base hit to left center and gave the crowd something to cheer about here at Oracle Park in the bottom of the seventh.
Yeah, we're going to hear from Mike Yastrzemski as well as Elliot Ramos here between now and midnight as we come to you from the bunker. It's John Dickinson, it's JD and Sandra G here on a Wednesday night. Giants get the win over the Dodgers, 4-1 the final. And just one more quick before we pause on Bomel, or from Bomel. He's got a pulse for just where this team is, and the feeling of, you'd won 2 series in a row, but it still felt like doomsday, which is true. I mean, we did the show last night, and when you get thumped and you haven't beat the Dodgers, and you had a chance to win the game Monday, but you didn't. It didn't feel like you'd won 2 series in a row. It felt like you're a team that's on. It felt more like the team that's on pace coming off of last night to win 69 games than a team that had won 2. So to get the win, catch your breath, see what's going on with the Rockies here, and if they can start to string some together, that's the importance of this. But Bomel has everything that we're talking about, and we've been talking about on the station here for the last couple of weeks. He is piped into the mood of this club and this franchise right now, and where the fan base is, and the pressures related to the expectations, and the way guys have played. Like he gets it, which I think is important.
Yeah, and that's baseball. You got to have a guy at the helm that has a good sense of understanding where his guys are at. And I feel like the Giants do have that with Bob Melvin, as Giants fans go home tonight to the sweet sounds of Tony Bennett here at Oracle Park.
All right, let's go ahead and pause here. We'll come back. We'll hear from Mike Yastrzemski. We'll hear from Elliot Ramos, as well as the Giants win it 4-1. KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
Dub Nation, dial the digits and dive in. 415-808-KNBR. Sports Phone KNBR continues right here and on the all-new KNBR app.
2-2 pitch to Yaz. Swing. He hits a high drive deep to right field. Back at the wall, way back there. Goodbye! It hits the tin roof and bounces up into the stands. A 2-run homer for Yastrzemski. 2-0 Giants.
Yep. Ed John Miller on the call there. Mike Yastrzemski going deep, 2-run shot, third inning. Giants win 4-1 over the Dodgers. And, a couple of Lamont Wade taking advantage of the short porch in right field. And the guys were talking about it on the post-game wrap. You thought when this ballpark opened that there were going to be tons of cheapy type home runs hit to that part, and it really hasn't been the case in the history of the ballpark. But the Giants, a couple of those over the last couple of days here with Wade and Yastrzemski working to their advantage. The most famous one, the JT Snow one in 2000. The JT Snow one in the playoff game against Armando Benitez, I think, and the Mets in the 2000 division series, the first year of the ballpark, plopped one right into that corner and up onto the ledge to tie a game that the Giants unfortunately eventually lost.
Yeah, and the snowpack went crazy.
It was something to see. It was something to see back in the year 2000 from JT Snow. Giants get the win tonight. Let's hear a little bit more from the Giants clubhouse and the man who hit that bomb, Mike Yastrzemski, meeting with the media.
Mike, congratulations on the home run. You got your buddy Curt Casali back on the team with you. We heard you were a little excited about that. Did he provide a little extra energy for you guys tonight?
I thought so. That's a guy who's caught Webby before, and you could see that tonight. He was a little off from his own standards, and Curt worked him through those first 2 innings really well, and that's just something that Curt brings, and that's his biggest asset right there, and it was great to see them work together.
Speaking of Webby, Yaz, he threw 32 pitches in that first inning, and things looked like they could have gotten a little dicey, but he was able to get out of it with a huge strikeout of Muncy and then a flyout of Teoscar Hernandez, and then he was able to get through 6 innings. How big has he been in these big games when you guys really need a win?
He's huge. I mean, he's just absolutely nails out there. It's one pitch at a time, and you can see it out there. He doesn't have the frustrated body language. He doesn't get mad at himself visibly on the mound, and he just moves on to the next pitch and wants to pitch for our team, and that's what he wants to do, and he goes out there and does it every time.
Hey, Yaz, take us through your at-bat there in the third inning. You get your buddy Curt gets on base. Casali has a nice approach, goes the other way, gets a single, and then you come up against Hernandez, who had been really good up to that point.
Yeah, honestly, just trying not to do too much, especially with 2 strikes, and just trying to be on time and put a good swing on it. And that's probably the only way that I can score Curt there is by hitting one out of the ballpark. So he said that to me too. So it's not out of the blue, but it was just a good pitch to hit and being on time.
How do you feel about Curt Casali shaving the rest of his beard off and keeping that nice mustache for Mustache May that he rocks?
Yeah, it's going to be forced on him. It doesn't matter what he wants or chooses. It's going to happen. So I'm sure we'll see it here soon.
Yes, keep the confetti cannons coming. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Mike Yastrzemski there. That courtesy of NBC Sports Bay Area. Laura Britt, you heard her voice there. George Contos, Sean Estes as well, talking to Yaz postgame. So we appreciate the ability to play some of that audio.
Yeah, and you hear Mike Yastrzemski saying something about the confetti cannon. So when Curt Casali was welcomed back into the clubhouse, steps into the clubhouse today, confetti cannons welcoming Curt Casali back to San Francisco, back into the Giants clubhouse. And word on the street is that he will be shaving his beard tomorrow to partake in Mustache May.
All right, yeah, you got to get in. We're officially at the back half of the month here coming up, so you got to get
just in the nick of time.
Yeah, you got 15 in the books, and 15 more to go. Like tomorrow's that day. Get it in.
And it's really nice to have a catcher come in in light of all of the injuries, and Patrick Bailey is out again with a concussion. But to get somebody behind the plate that has a history with some of these pitchers, and I think all but Eric Miller had been caught by Curt Casale, the Giants pitchers that were out on the bump today. And it's really nice to be able to have a relationship. I know from pitching, to have a relationship with your catcher, it makes a big difference. And Casale is one of those guys that can call a great game. He caught 5 consecutive shutouts in that 2021 season, and was a major player in that franchise record-setting season. So Curt Casale back in the orange and black.
Stability. They needed some catching stability. And again, no shade at Sable or Jackson Reitz, but they needed stability at the catcher spot. I think even if Bailey's coming back, they needed it. But if Bailey's going to be out, or if that's a little bit murkier as to the length of time he's going to be out, then they definitely needed it. So
yeah, and it's nice to have somebody that you can depend on to give your guy an off day. And we saw with Bailey in his rookie season last year, and which is continuing this season. But you saw the fatigue setting in. He'd caught a lot of games, and he hadn't been used to that amount of a workload. So having somebody that you can depend on to get back there and catch some innings, give some guys a day off. Curt Casale is that guy.
He's a real catcher. Like you get catcher's not a position. Like I don't believe. Again, we can. I don't think catcher is a position where it's like, yeah, we're just going to throw this guy catcher.
He's comfortable in the gear, and I've had the privilege of talking to Curt Casale in the past in that 2021 season here with the Giants, and I asked him if he wasn't a professional baseball player, if he could play any other sport, what would he be? And I was thinking he was going to say golf, because he's a big golf guy. Him and Yaz, they go golfing on off days. But he said he would play hockey, and I think he's just got a thing for the gear.
Yeah, and Curt Casale, born in Walnut Creek, also, which is an odd. I didn't spend much time there. I think he was just kind of born there, and then they moved somewhere else. But born in the Bay, as well. So
we'll take him.
Important. I'll claim.
Yeah,
I'll claim Curt Casale on that. On that note. All right, let's hear a couple of minutes from another one of the Giant heroes tonight. In this one, Elliot Ramos, post-game, he drove in a run, had the double that we were discussing in the last segment. So here's a little bit from Elliot Ramos post-game.
We are going to be joined right now by Elliot Ramos, who joins us from just outside of the Giants clubhouse. Elliot, congratulations on the win and your good night. You've been up with the team now for a week. What's this past week been like for you?
It's been super exciting for sure. I feel really good. I just appreciate the opportunity for sure.
Elliot, how you feeling this time back in the big leagues? You just seem a lot more comfortable, more relaxed, more confident, and it's showing in the plate. You're hitting the ball hard, getting big hits right now. You got your feet wet in the last couple of years, but what's your confidence level like at the big leagues this go around?
Well, I mean, I had a pretty good offseason, and I just want to get the job done. You know, I feel really good about like where I'm at right now, mentally and physically. So I just want to keep it going, man, and just like have a good at bats and just play good baseball.
Elliot, you said mentally, you're feeling really good mentally. We all know that you've always had the tools. You've been a very touted prospect for a very long time. And it looks like, as Sean mentioned, you're coming up here and you're playing with a lot more confidence. It seems like you feel that you belong playing at the major league level. And your at-bats have shown that. Your defense has shown that. Your ability to get to balls quick and make good plays in between the ears. Tell us what you've done to work on that mental part of your game to feel so confident right now.
Obviously, the best part is just always staying positive for sure. That's a big thing, I think, in baseball. And just take things how they come, you know what I mean? Just like let the game come to you. Just try to stay simple, try to stay short, and just like stay as easy as possible, if that makes sense.
Elliot, a win over the Dodgers this season has eluded you guys until tonight. How would you describe what this win tonight over LA means for this team?
I mean, it's a good win, honestly. We're not done yet. We just want to keep going, want to keep the momentum going for sure. The guys are feeling good. Everybody, we have a good clubhouse, obviously. And, I mean, we just want to, like, keep it going and keep it rolling.
All right, Elliot, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on the win. We'll let you go celebrate with your teammates.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, Elliot Ramos there, NBC Sports Bay Area. Again, Laura Britt, George Contos, Sean Estes. A couple of minutes as he met with them over on the television side of things following the 4-1 win for the Giants over the Dodgers. 808 KNBR, if you want to sneak in a couple of more calls here, we could do that between now and midnight. We are going to talk a little about the 49ers schedule coming up, but our guy Austin Scott is back from the Giants clubhouse, so we want to make sure we check in with him a little bit here. What's going on tonight, man?
It's going good. Giants much needed win tonight, and I think the big takeaway is Logan Webb's had some solid outings at home this season.
Yes.
You know, dating back, skip the last couple of weeks, but Bob Melvin basically said this is the best outing he's had all year. Even though the first inning was rough, and the Dodgers knocked on the door a little bit, but just couldn't drive in a run. But like Logan Webb said, it's the best lineup in baseball, and to go out there 6 innings, 103 pitches was great. And he took a lot of accountability tonight, just saying it was a must needed win. It was a must win, even though it was this early in the season.
Yeah, and we played the Bomel sound a little bit earlier, and I when he said what you alluded to there about it being his best outing, I thought, really? Like I don't know about that at that point. But when you look at 6 innings and no runs allowed, I mean, he had 8 shutout innings against the Mets.
Right.
How many pitches in that one, do you know? 'Cause
106.
tonight was 103,
Yep.
6 shutout, 103 pitches for Logan Webb.
7 shutout innings against the Diamondbacks, 2 hits. And so I thought, I mean, again, it was, doing it against different lineups.
I think it was just the context.
And also, of turning it around when it could have been.
Right.
It was very close to being 3-0 in the first
32
inning.
pitches in the
2-0.
first
32.
inning?
32. And you know what? He was the stopper, and as the ace of the squad, you kind of got to be. And going up against the rivals, the Dodgers here at home, that was big. And you could see how excited he was. You saw Alex Cobb in the dugout. Webby comes off and gets a big old hug from Cobb and see a big old smile. You feel like the Giants are loosening up a little bit, and wins will do that for a club. And so seeing that from Cobb, who is, one of the veterans in the rotation, who is hopefully we'll see here pretty soon. Logan Webb had his best stuff at the last 2 innings of the game, so he just continued to get better and better as the day rolled on, as the night got deeper into the game, and it looked good for Logan Webb.
Yeah, and look, I mean, it's 2 good starts in a row for Logan Webb after a couple of tough starts in Philadelphia and in Boston, and he has been terrific. Sandra had the numbers earlier as far as the home versus road. I mean, it's 0 tonight. It's 2 in the last one. There were the 15 innings of shutout ball at home, 7 in the game on April the 7th against the Padres, allowing 2 runs. So he's been terrific.
Yeah, and coming into tonight's game, Logan Webb with the lowest home ERA in Major League Baseball since 2021, guys. So that's over the course of 2 seasons, where last season Logan Webb pitched 216 innings. He led the majors with overall lowest home ERA in Major League Baseball with a 2.3.
Yeah, so much needed win, and the Giants, will see. Off day, first one in a couple of weeks, and then the Rockies, who are suddenly hot, haven't lost since a week ago tonight when the Giants beat them at Coors Field. They had that blowout win last Thursday, and then they swept the Rangers and swept the Padres the last 2 series. But that has dropped the Padres to still in that final wild card spot, but 2 games under 500 is the final wild card spot right now. So the Giants are only, as tough as things have been, and we have done some tough shows and some positive shows, they're only a game and a half out of that final wild card spot, which that's the Major League Baseball design. They don't want anybody thinking they're out of it.
I mean, I think that's really the takeaway is like, that's why today it's Sandra, you've been saying it like for the last 3 days, like you got to take it a game at a time. Like you got to win today, because they've lost a lot, honestly, over the last couple of weeks, but winning today and going into Colorado starting on Friday, it's like you're in the mix. You just don't fall 10-15 under 500 and you're going to be in the mix.
Well, and here's the other part of it too. It's let's see, this weekend is going to determine good homestand, bad homestand.
Totally.
To me, it's pretty much all on this weekend will shape how we view this series, how we view the Red series and them taking 2 out of 3, even maybe the 2 out of 3 in Colorado. The other point, just short and sweet, is they got to play better on the road. Now, we're not there yet. That's more of a conversation for after the weekend, but they got to play better on the road than they have to this point. 8-15, like that's they've been just flat out bad on the road. They've been competitive, a little over 500 here, up and down, but they got to play better on the road.
Yeah, and if they go 500 on the road, I think that puts them at 500 overall, or even better for the season. So yeah, definitely got to do a little bit better on the road, at least win half, so that you can come back home and scoop up some of those losses or missing wins.
I mean, it's the Pirates and the Mets. Those are 2 series that they won here at home. They took 2 out of 3 in both. It's like, all right, you're going on the road. You're playing these 2 teams.
And as I like to say to my guy Austin, they think that the Giants are coming in and they're going to get healthy. They're thinking the exact same thing that the Giants are thinking,
right?
Which is obviously why you got to let it play out. All right, let's pause here. We'll come back. We do have a couple of calls that have popped up here on the board, so we'll get to a couple of calls and maybe get into a little 49ers schedule. There was a caller earlier that kind of threw it in at the back end, and Sandra was looking at me like, like this is schedule, JD. It's like it's full-blown. It was full-blown calendar nerd for like 45 seconds.
Wow.
And then we had to steer it back on the road.
Torn over the Dodgers.
Yeah, you got to bring it back.
Well, this was about 40 minutes in, but it was still, yeah.
As the Giants right the ship and get a win at home against the Dodgers. Logan Webb, 6 shutout innings against the dreaded Bums.
All right, Peter and Scarecrow coming up next. KNBR 104.5 and 680, the Sports Leader.
Sports Phone KNBR keeps rolling live from the KNBR Casino Matrix Progressive Jackpot Studios. Casino Matrix Progressive Jackpots are here. Where are you? Just drop in. Please play responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
In the bunker, KNBR 104.5 and 680. Final segment. It's a quick one. We got a couple of people that want to talk. Let's get to it. Peter in San Carlos. That's right, San Carlos here on the Sports Leader.
Laura and Sean, you guys sound great on the radio together.
Appreciated it. Yeah, it's not Laura and Sean, but yeah, they're good. They're really good. We played some of their stuff a few minutes ago. Thanks. He dropped. Well, but that's what happens. Like, yeah. Hey, Laura.
What's up, Sean?
You got Contos over here. Yeah, actually, that's about right.
It's very accurate.
Like, that's actually your content of that. Like, we nailed it. I'm more of an Estes than a Contos, and you're more of a Contos than an Estes, I think. Scarecrow in Sacramento.
916.
916 checking in. What's going on, Scarecrow?
Nothing much. Hey, we found out a couple of things. Number one, the Dodgers are not immortal.
True.
Even though everybody has all but given them the NL West and the World Series and everything else that goes with it. And two, we found out exactly what the Giants need to do to beat them, and that's play perfect ball, all which is in their realm. Most of the stuff we've seen is making their own errors and them shooting their own foot off. And it's going to take a while, but I'm impressed with the club so far. I said I wouldn't make a decision on them until, Memorial Day or something like that. But they took a giant step tonight.
Well, now it's a matter of can they make it pay off over the weekend and turn it into something that the record reflects. And so, yeah, appreciate the call, Scarecrow. That'll be the final one of the night. We got a couple of minutes here, about 2.5, 3 minutes. But I agree with the sentiment. You got to play perfect ball to beat L.A. The Giants played, I don't want to say near perfect, but they played pretty well the other night and left the door open a little bit, and the Dodgers were able to walk right through and win it. The other part of that is, the Dodgers are not invincible. I mean, they're 29-16, which is really good. And I mean, if you've been paying attention the last decade and a half, I mean, they probably are going to win the NL West, but that doesn't mean they're going to win the World Series. We've seen that.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I think a big thing, too, is not only did the Giants beat the Dodgers tonight, but they held them to one run. That's a big thing to do to this big, bad Dodgers lineup. So the Giants hold the Dodgers tonight to one run. Logan Webb goes 6 shutout innings, and the Giants fans go home happy and get a day off tomorrow going into the 3-game series here at home against Colorado.
Final thoughts, Austin, from the clubhouse?
Well,
Logan Webb?
I was just going to say they had the first game kind of in their hands, too. And although you could kind of throw away yesterday's game, I think there's a lot more positives to maybe take away than people would think.
Yeah, and they did it with the young guys, and so they're making these games a little bit tough on the Dodgers, and they're doing it with the young guys who ultimately the Giants do need to see what they have with these young guys, and now is the time to do so.
Yeah, they split the 2 competitive games, and then the Dodgers were the Dodgers
right
in the in-between game. And so you end up losing 2 out of 3, but you're only 1.5 back.
Let's see what happens this weekend.
You're only 1.5 back, and the Rockies are coming in, and it's not the Rockies that were 8-26. It's the have won 7 in a row Rockies. Wow. And so we'll see Kyle Harrison getting that series started on Friday, and then Jordan Hicks on Saturday. The Giants have to figure out what they're going to do coming up on Sunday as well. So we'll keep everybody posted on that once we know. All right. That'll do it. Sandra, thank you for being in here not only tonight, but the last 3 nights. Tremendous stuff.
Thanks for having me, JD. Post-game has been a blast.
We will see you on Friday. And Austin, as always, tremendous job.
Yeah, I'll be around.
We appreciate it. Check out the KNBR socials for all of Austin's fine work from the clubhouse and all around the ballpark as well. So we'll talk to you on Friday as the Giants beat the Dodgers 4-1. Thanks to Jacob Violante. Greg Silver was around there. Dave Jenks, Overnight Dave. The midnight replay is coming up right here. KNBR 104.5 and 680, the Sports Leader.